thanks, Annie. Is there any public comment on items not on today's agenda? Okay, I don't see communications later on the agenda, but since we do have media on the line here, Allison, did you want to make any sort of an announcement on the press conference that we'll be having at 11:30?
Oh yeah, sure. I will be sending out a statement with the details here in just a few minutes. But...
Okay, basically what will be happening at 11:30, there will be a joint press conference between the city and the county announcing our standing up of an incident management team to assist with finding a location for folks who are otherwise currently camped out in the urban wilds of Missoula, including the Reserve Street encampment, and addressing some of the public health and safety concerns that we've all become acutely aware of associated with these ad hoc camps that have sprung up around town. 11:30 on the west side of the courthouse, is that correct, Allison?
The east side, right in front of the entrance there.
East side, okay. I had a...
Maybe double check that. I'm a little
Okay.
directionally challenged.
Somewhere on the perimeter of the courthouse, there will be a press conference. Okay, thanks. Any other public comment on items not on the agenda? Seeing none, let's roll into our first item today, action item brought to us by Chantel Gaynor.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Everybody
Morning.
had a nice long weekend.
Yes.
I am getting some feedback. I'm wondering if everybody else is okay. Oh,
If
it's fixed.
folks could mute themselves, that would be great. That might help.
Great, thank you. So this is a standard contract between the city and county that helps support 2.75 FTE at Relationship Violence Services, now Community Justice Department. The unusual thing is this is for a year that is completed. The contract had been delayed and landed on my desk March 2020, right when we went into lockdown. And we all went home, and I never processed this contract. So it's more or less a housekeeping matter. All the funds have been paid and allocated and expended. We have had those staff on, performing their job duties. All have done a phenomenal job, and we'll be moving into the next fiscal year, and we'll be renewing this contract going forward. So this is for $171,000. It has already been spent. So if we could approve it, then we can process it, and it can basically be a record of what has already happened.
Thanks, Chantel. Questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to double the date range. So this was June 30th of 2020. Okay.
It started July 1, 2019 to go to June 30th, 2020. The contract was delayed in the beginning part of the year, which is not unusual for this contract because it is such a housekeeping matter. And so by the time it had come to me, it was already March. And then, like I said, went into lockdown. So it was delayed anyway, and then doubly delayed.
Got it. Great. Okay. Thank you. And then another question. What is the proper title for RVS now? What's the department called?
Community Justice Department.
Thank you. I don't have any other questions. So I motion to approve the contract, Dave.
Okay, I will second that. Any further discussion or comment on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thanks, Chantel.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Okay.
You too.
Dory, we have a request that the BCC approved the second amendment to development agreement between Missoula County and Bonner Property Development. Talk to us about this.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I have two items in, but one letter. So this first one is amending the agreement with Bonney Property Development to just change the time frames. This moves it that they have to start construction by June 14th and complete it by August 31st. And where it stands right now, if the approvals get through today, is they will be starting tomorrow. The contractor would be ready to start today if we had these ready. So, I mean, they are setting up the, you know, all the safety and, you know, whatever needs to do to have it started. So last week was a pre-construction meeting. I wanted to let the commission know that I've been including Al Burley in these because one, he has the expertise and he worked in this area back at the previous cleanup when he was with Envirocom, so he's very familiar with it. We're not part of the contract with the contractor, but still trying to keep our eyes on it a bit to make sure everything is going as smoothly as we can. Matt Sewick from Territorial, now IMEG, is the engineer. He is on the line in the meeting if you have any questions on this one or the second item about anything to do with the construction. So this changes the time. Also, I had, before I forget, you have a tour scheduled next Wednesday of the Bonner, of the whole site. And I kind of set that hoping they would be moving dirt by that time, so we will get to see that, which I happen to be excited about since it's been years in the coming. So this is agreement just changed the dates.
Okay, and this, for folks who don't have the documents in front of them, this pertains to the removal of the repository for contaminated materials out at the Bonner Mill site. Any questions, Juanita?
Nope. Looking forward to, yes, seeing that dirt be moved and getting on with this.
Okay. Is that your motion?
Oh, sorry. Yes, and my motion is to approve the second amendment to the development agreement. Thanks, Tori. And yeah, looking forward to the tour.
I will second that. And before we vote, Matt, did you have any comments that you wanted to add at this point?
This is Matt Sewick with IMEG. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, and I'm also at the Bonner Property Development Office with Steve, Mike, and Mike as well. I don't have any comments to add on this item or the next item, but I'm definitely available if there are questions.
Okay. Very good. Steve or Mike, or anyone else hanging out there in your office, any comments you'd like to make?
This is Steve. Not really, just that we're excited to get this finally started, and we appreciate you guys' help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner, if I could make one comment to Steve and Mike, I need the signed contract back since you're sitting there. Thank you.
Okay. All right, we've for the second amendment to the development agreement, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Dory, move right into the letter of consent to proceed.
Thank you. This is really more a requirement of DEQ, a good one. So obviously DEQ has been very actively involved in the process in getting all the approvals, getting details of the construction mostly. And they want to confirm that we, Missoula County, is comfortable with proceeding on the job. So some of the main requirement was that Bonner Property Development needed to provide the county with copies of insurance documents. And they have done that, and Erica reviewed those and the bonding documents. So they have complied with providing those for Bonner Property Development, and then they require their contractor to have insurance, and those documents have likewise been provided to us. So this letter sets forth that that requirement has been met. Since we're not part of the actual construction project, we're not commenting on the details of the project itself. but we are just that they have complied with that. I also have in here, DEQ wants to ensure that there will be adequate funds to finish the project, and Andrew's on with that. If you have something to add, we are meeting with First Security Bank, or at least he is, to firm up the final documents, but we probably have 2/3 of the money. The first pay up will come in July, I believe. So we're sitting pretty well for the funding for this project, with some of the funds needing to be borrowed.
Dory, could you remind us what is the total project cost?
Yeah, and I might let Matt jump into that a little bit, but what Missoula County is committing is up to $3 million. And that included the work that IMEG has already been doing on the project for probably about the last year, would go towards that. So that's our commitment. Matt, do you have anything to add about costs?
No, I don't. I can pull up our estimate from before, but I would, that's what I remember as well, was the 3 million approval.
Clearly, moving dirt is more expensive than what folks might think.
Wow.
I think it's dirt with PCBs.
Well, there is that added component. So I do have a question for Steve and Mike. I'm delighted to see this move forward. This has been a lot of years in the making, and many of us wish that the pile would not be there today and that this would have been taken care of many years ago, but we are where we are. But Steve or Mike, could you just talk about what this would mean for development out at the site there, and economic development, and yeah, I'll just leave it at that. If you could share your perspective, that would be great.
Sure. This is Steve. Yeah, it opens up about 2.3, I think, or 2.4 acres, right in the middle of the heart of the site. And we don't have anything planned at the moment, but we are approaching being full. And so the next step would be to build something. And there seems to be demand. We get inquiries, and if we get something serious and this was gone and a buildable site, then we would be all for getting something done so we create some more activity out here.
Thank you, Steve. Any questions, Juanita?
Nope. This should have happened last year. So like, glad it's happening now.
So this will, so as folks might gather, I think you will see support from the commissioners in signing this letter. This will come around to us via ready sign, so no need for a motion right now. It'll show up in your inbox and we'll sign it accordingly. Any other comment, questions from the media on this item? The media being one, I guess, today, namely Martin Kidston.
I have no comment or no question, excuse me. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Mike, for joining us. We look forward to getting the repository out of there. Okay. Moving on, we have a letter supporting United Way's application for Montana Healthcare, a Montana Healthcare Foundation grant. Who might be out there who would like to speak to this?
Hi, good morning, Commissioners. Ann Hughes, Chief Operating Officer. This is just a letter of support for United Way. They're applying for some grant funding from the Montana Healthcare Foundation that would just help cover some of the ongoing operational costs of the temporary safe outdoor space. So this is just this is just seeking funding to help kind of supplement the activities and efforts of the Hope Rescue mission and the United Way.
Great, thank
Thanks,
you.
man. Any questions, Juanita? And I should say that this is in keeping with our support of both Hope Rescue Mission and United Way in terms of the operation of the TSOS. There will be role for the county to play at some point, probably as it relates to regulatory oversight of the ultimate disposition of the camp at that location, or what that might look like going forward. But until such a time as that comes to our desk, we are still fully supportive of what's going on out there and the funding that could be brought to bear for that.
Absolutely. So, thank
Okay.
you. And
Thank
for
you.
this, yeah.
Yeah. Good luck with the application. All right. Moving on to discussion items. Budget amendments. I'm assuming this is the Ken Thorne Torney show here.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Amanda Thorne. I will have two budget amendments for you at our Thursday public meeting. The first is from the Health Department, and it's including additional revenues and expenditures for the community health and wellness services that are provided to the Rocky Boy Health Center in Ravalli County by nurses in Missoula County. Kate Davino is going to be unable to attend that meeting, but she is going to share a short statement with me to say about the activities that they do there. All of the revenues cover the additional expenditures in this one. So it's revenue and expenditure neutral and just over $5,600.
So Amanda, I'm assuming hear more about this on Thursday. You may not be prepared to provide any details right now, but to the casual observer, the funding for the Rocky Boys Center in Ravalli County is an interesting twist.
It's two separate ones. The Rocky Boy Community Health Center and Ravalli County. There are two contracts. We provide services to both.
Okay.
Sorry.
I don't have the documents in front of me, so I misheard. Thank you.
Not a problem. They're two separate entities. We
Okay.
provide services to both.
Got it. Okay. You
The
got to watch those folks in Ravalli County. I don't know what they're trying to slip in.
I understand. The second is more grant funding from the DNRC related to 9 Mile Creek and our partnership with Trout Unlimited. We had a budget amendment for this recently. It turned out the first payment was a little bit more than anticipated, so there's an additional $5,200 there. Again, this is neutral in terms of revenue and expenditures. What we get in is what we spend out. And then 9 Mile Phase 6 and some of the planning have begun on that. And the payment that we would receive and may need to send out for that is expected to be right around the end of the fiscal year. So this budget amendment is kind of preemptive in case it hits before June 30th and would not be part of the fiscal year 22 budget. So those are the two budget amendments that I'll have on Thursday for you.
Thank you.
And just to kind of give you a heads up for kind of the rest of the schedule for fiscal year 21 budget amendments, I'm planning to be back with public meeting items again on July 1st and try and get some of the year-end type of amendments that we would do done and in front of you then. And then the remainder on July 22nd at your public meeting then. And the reason I'm breaking this up is, as you can imagine, with our CARES Act reimbursement and the conundrum that we were put in by CARES Act requiring that we not budget for our COVID expenses in advance, and then the state requiring that we have a balanced budget, the volume of budget amendments related to CARES Act spending is going to be fairly significant this year. Because we had to, kind of ask for reimbursement, and now we'll be amending our budget to reflect all of that activity. So The year-end budget amendment will be a little bit larger than usual because of that. And so just in terms of workflow and volume, both for myself and the rest of the financial services staff that has to process those, we're going to try and break that up and make it a little easier on everybody. So just to give you a heads up on what we're doing there and what it looks like, I will be at every meeting that you ever have in June and July. Those are the reasons why.
Thanks,
Well,
Amanda.
good luck.
Yeah, any budget process pain that you can mitigate is always most welcome. So
I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
thank you.
You too.
Anything else that we need to cover today? Upcoming meetings, etc. Okay, we are done at 10:25. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week and welcome to the month of June.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.